Grant PUD Commission candidates say there are some glaring issues that need to be resolved at the utility heading into 2019. Incumbent Terry Brewer and challenger Judy Wilson talked at length about the needed fixes. Nelson Cox and his opponent Patty Paris also shed some light on what the focus should be moving forward.
The PUD is facing challenges in this decade that they had not really faced before. We've got a changing horizon for our PUD, and that is, in the past, we had a strong market for our wholesale power, and that provided a good, steady, strong revenue stream for the county, and it also allowed the PUD to subsidize rates for all of us who live here, all the businesses and residents. That horizon is changing. We now have regulation that impacts our ability to sell power and make it as marketable as it used to be. We have competition from solar and wind, and even sometimes natural gas. So we have to pay attention to that. We have had to, as a PUD, they had to borrow a considerable amount of debt to upgrade and renovate the dams. The dams are 60 years old. We need to make sure they're going to last another 6,500 years into the future, and the investment came now. So they had to do that, and we need to pay attention to make sure we service the debt properly.
Well, I personally have a little problem with, we own the PUD, we the citizens own the PUD. And I sit here and I look at the server farms, and we're giving them our power. And so let's look at 5.4 cents is what every citizen's paying for their home power. But we're giving our power away to the richest companies in the world, and I don't think that's right. It's our power. It's not theirs, and we need to charge accordingly. I am not a fan of the cost of service study. If it worked, we wouldn't be losing 50, 60 million bucks a year. End of conversation. That thing, I mean, their last 10-year history, it does not work. And I feel fairly strongly about that.
One of the huge big issues is their debt. They don't seem to be concerned about it, but they are $1.3 billion in debt. And $500 million of this has been added to the debt in the last 10 years. So that's a tremendous amount of debt for a utility that is owned by the people. Most ratepayers are totally unaware that the PUD has that kind of debt. The ratepayers, most of them, realize that their electricity rate is way more inexpensive than just living in just about any other part of the country, and so they just pay their bill every month and don't put a lot of thought into the issues that are going on behind the scenes with the PUD and how we got to this place of 1.3 billion in debt. If you look at Chelan and Douglas County, who are fairly similar publicly owned utilities, they do not have this kind of debt. I'm told that Chelan County is in the neighborhood of 500 million. The other thing I take issue with is their cost of service study, basing their rates solely on cost of service study. Grant County has a very unique economy. Whether people want to admit it or not, it's pretty much an ag-based economy. But we're not talking just about the farmers. We're talking about the food processing plants. We're talking about the other industries that are here because of the farming. We're talking about the tractor dealerships, the parts houses. They all depend on the ag economy. And yes, we do need more industrial customers, but we need industrial customers that bring jobs with them, not customers that are here solely for the cheap power. And using this cost of service study, you can skew just like you can skew a budget any way you want to skew it. You can skew a cost of service study depending on what you were trying to accomplish.
Be efficient with the manpower we have, the way the PUD is organized. We've seen a reorganization over the past 2 years so that the given departments can work more efficiently, get more work out of less people. We're not laying people off, but there's been attrition through retirements and just general exodus for one reason or another, and we're watching the head count to keep it down costs and benefits are a big part of our O&M expense, and I'd like to see that continue so that we can manage the business as efficiently as we can for the benefit of all of our customers. I think the biggest fix that has been underway for more than a decade is repairing, rebuilding old infrastructure at the PUD. Our customers expect good, reliable service, and that's what we want to deliver. When you have 60-year-old generators and turbines, you have 60-year-old transmission lines, distribution lines, and substations. A lot of that equipment has been rebuilt over the past decade. There's still a lot more work to be done. My opponent, Mrs. Wilson, has been critical of the amount of debt that the PUD has. During my 12 years, we have incurred new debt, but I'm also proud to say that our debt-to-asset ratio has gone down. I think it's important that we continue down this path that we begun 3 years ago for fairness and rate setting. I'm an advocate of residential customers having the most affordable rates possible. Residential customers, in my opinion, for a number of years have been subsidizing irrigation rates. Irrigation rates have been as far as 45% below cost, residential rates 25% below cost. I don't think that's fair. I want fairness in rate setting, but I think in the end, it's fair for everybody to equalize those customer classes at 20% below cost. That's a good bargain for everybody. Most utilities can't do that.